Newcastle 1 Leeds 1, pressure eases slightly on Steve Bruce, but fans still boo and protest in stands and want him out. A point for Newcastle that does nothing but kick the Steve Bruce-shaped can down Berwick Road outside St James Park. As much as the Toon Army were behind their boys during this thrilling draw, they did not hold back at their beleaguered manager. Calls for his head started just 3 minutes in, and the mood turned uncomfortably toxic when Rafinha's opener for Leeds went in. Reverberating around all four corners, it was a level of hatred not yet witnessed during the Geordies' joyless reign. Magic man Alan Saint-Maximin's equaliser may have dampened the calls for his head, but only briefly. With the game in the balance, the restless locals were soon too preoccupied with trying to roar their side onto their first 3 points. But this powder keg of a stadium was just waiting for ignition. A Leeds winner would have unleashed hell, but that it did not come changes nothing. Join Sun Vegas, get a free £10 bonus with 100s of games to play, and no deposit required, TSNCS apply. Loud cries of "We want Brucey out" were back in the last 10 minutes, with the scores level and Newcastle pushing for a winner, proving the Geordie has not got a hope of turning this around. Bruce would be well advised to start listening to his family. His nearest and dearest reckon he's sick for clinging on as his Magpies lurch from crisis to crisis. Bruce's dream job has long been a nightmare now, and the stubborn Bruce has got to be bordering on masochism if he keeps clinging on. They remain winless after 5, as do Leeds, and even if they win a couple, the feeling is now so deep-rooted that it will surely only be a matter of time before the team suffer. Keeper Freddie Woodman was set for the chop, having shipped 12 goals in the first 4 games, but picked up an injury in training on Wednesday and was replaced by Carl Darlow, who has recovered from COVID. White's winger Dan James replaced Jack Harrison for his first start since moving from Manchester United, with Mattis Click in for the injured Diego Llorente. Speaking to Sky Sports' Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville before kickoff, Bruce said bring it on when asked if he needed the hassle from supporters. After an afternoon boozing in the Tyneside sunshine, the Leeds hordes up in the gods of the Leazes End made a right racket from start to finish. It took just 3 minutes for the first "We want Brucey out" chant. If that was just one corner of the Gallowgate end, it spread like wildfire through the stand when Rafinha put Leeds ahead 13 minutes in. The Brazilian swung a teaser in from the right and Rodrigo had the nous to jump and let it through his legs, catching Darlow out as it nestled in the far corner. "Stand up if you hate Steve Bruce" was the next chant of choice, with all 4 corners heckling their manager in unison during a break-in player after 20 minutes. In a thrilling end-to-end first half, the Mags had plenty of chances to get back in it, with Matt Ritchie hitting the post and Joelinton missing a sitter. But if there is any hope up here, then it comes in the form of Alan Saint-Maximin, and the Frenchman came to the rescue just before the break. Picking it up from the Joelinton on the edge of the box, the Frenchman jinked past 3 defenders, but the chance looked to be up. The winger let fly back across Ilan Meslier and St James erupted in joy this time. In injury time, Leeds should have been back ahead after another electric counter, but Rafinha's shot was smothered by Darlow before Junior Firpo blazed over. The Toon stopper was on hand to save his side again straight after the break, leaping high to get a fingertip on skipper Jamal Lascelles' spoon-headed clearance. If there was one saving grace for Bruce, it was that Mike Dean was refereeing. If Bruce was public enemy number 1, then the Whistler wasn't far behind, especially when he got in the way of Isaac Hayden as the hosts built a promising attack. Going forward, Newcastle were essentially a one-man team of Saint-Maximin. The speedster plays at 100 miles per hour almost put Newcastle ahead just before the hour with a venomous left-footed blast, only for Meslier to get a strong hand on it. Patrick Bamford was as anonymous as he has been for a long time in a Leeds shirt. His big moment finally arrived after 70 minutes, but the England new boy fluffed his lines. Played in one-on-one, the goal was gaping, but he never looked in control and completely scuffed his effort straight at the gleeful Darlow. Free bets, get over £2,000 in new customer deals. White's boss Marcelo Bielsa was expecting the goal to bulge and could not contain himself, leaping up and shouting his disgust. Saint-Maximin was back at again as the game entered the last few minutes, this time doing the damage on the right, but Meslier was again up to task. In injury time, the chants directed at Bruce returned, loudly, and it's impossible to see how this story has a happy ending. Read our Football News Live blog for the very latest rumors, gossip and done deals.